On the first hole, we thread the needle of the double dogleg today, meaning that we'll have a good chance of being on the green putting for eagle. The approach shot here is a bit offline, and it finds the greenside bunker. This one was pretty tidy, so we'll be inside 10 feet for birdie. This wasn't the greatest putt, so we'll take a par on the first. If you've followed my rounds lately, you'll know that this is the miss I'm most afraid of. A snap hook into the trees means the best we can do here is punch out. Something I've been doing so much of, I'm getting kind of decent at it. This wedge is also pretty good, so we'll have a chance to save par here. This putt gets left a little high. And that was so aggressive it almost missed. The alternate tee box on the third hole favors this miss more than the regular tee box, so I'm pretty lucky that despite missing a bit short here, I have a good angle with a wedge to a front pin. That breaks the other way at the last second, or we might have had a bird, but we'll take par. On the fourth hole, I try to hit a draw aiming at a set of fairway bunkers, but I don't get a lot of draw and the ball almost falls in. This approach is pretty good and lands just a few feet short of the green, but this is a very tricky two-putt. I always seem to leave it just a little bit low, and I do again today, so I'll have about 6 feet uphill for par. Don't quite make it, so we'll have to take a bogey on stroke hole 1. Shout out to my partner Matt, who shows me exactly where my feet are aiming, which might explain some of my smother hooks. He straightens me out, and I end up hitting a push, but that's better than the smother hook I've been fighting lately. We top the second shot, and are lucky to at least have a short iron in. This one winds up in a great spot about 15 feet below the hole. I put too much pace on this putt, but that's fine when it drops. My drive on 6 finds an area that's recently been irrigated. I don't have a great lie, and I do that with it. Trying to get up and down from about 70 yards. Hit a pretty good one here that ends up a little left of the flag but pin high. Another bomb. You really want to aim up the left side of 7, and this is about the only drive I've hit today that went straight at my target. That doesn't mean I don't have room for another top in the bag. And this approach is tough. It's a back pin, and anything that lands even in the middle of the green tends to get ejected out the back. I land this one at the front, and it still goes through the back, but at least I'm putting for bird here. And we'll take a par. 8 is the toughest par 3 on the course, owing entirely to a very tricky green. Anything above the hole can be an absolutely treacherous position, and here from about 15 feet, I'm solely focused on not putting the ball 10 feet past the hole, so I'm just fine escaping with a par. Don't smother hook it, don't smother hook it! I smother hooked it. From 175 here, I hit my best iron shot of the day. It pitches at the front of the green, but actually rolls all the way through the back. This birdie putt had a chance, and I'm thrilled after some of that ball striking to just be 1 over through 9. This is a much better drive. And from about the same number I had on the last hole, I pull the same stick and hit almost the same shot, but this one won't quite turn over as much as the last one. This birdie putt from the fringe is decent, and we'll tap in for par on 10. I think the shot tracer was a bit ambitious saying that this ball went this high, but it was a good drive nonetheless. And from about 200 in, I hit a good shot here. It pitches just short of the green and trickles onto the front. I hit a good lag eagle putt here, and I'm always happy with a 2-putt birdie. So it's at this point that I realize I'm even par through 11 holes. So strap in, the final 7 holes are going to be pretty crazy today. This chip is decent and gives me a good look at par, but check out this loopy, terrible putting stroke. That's a guy who feels the pressure of being even par. On 13, the smother hook is more penal than any other hole on the course. So I hit a push that I'm not terribly disappointed with until I see that it's in a bunker. From that position, I had no choice but to hit a high lofted club out. And this chip will give me a look at getting up and down, which I'd be very happy with. This one wasn't quite meant to be. And here's another loopy putting stroke on the bogey. Did I mention feeling the pressure? There is a chunked hybrid that has the trajectory of a lob wedge and goes all of about 100 yards. At least it's in the fairway. But this hybrid shot is almost as bad as the last. And now I have the dreaded 40-yard bunker shot that I hit almost perfectly. But instead I have a very tricky putt from the rough here. And that's not really the putt I wanted. But fortunately, I make the comeback. If you haven't noticed, my playing partners abandoned me after 9. And maybe if Matt were back, he would have told me how closed I was to target on both of my last 2 shots. So now I have a punch shot onto the green that I hit pretty well, and it ends up above the hole. I really thought I saw the line on this birdie putt, but I didn't, and leave myself much more than I wanted to coming back for par. But finally the strokes are getting a bit better here. My equipment failed me a bit here, because this shot is better than what the shot tracer is showing, and my camera decides that it doesn't want to catch all of this shot. Even I didn't know that it would be this close, and this birdie makes up for some prior sins. It's really tough to hit the green on 17, and even if you do, there are some places you really don't want to be. This is, by my estimation, one of the hardest putts on the golf course, and I decided to show you how long I toiled over this before finally giving it a roll. It's so slick, and anything near the hole is good here. Go in. And that is a very unexpected bonus. Don't smother hook it, don't smother hook it! That's my worst shot of the day, and there have been some bad ones. So we've got that punch-out shot that we've really been perfecting lately. I was trying to leave myself 100 yards, but I'm not going to complain with 85. This one's on line with the flag, so it's going to give me a look at making par and finishing 1 over, which would be my best round ever here at Shaughnessy. But it's not quite meant to be, and we'll take a 75. It's certainly better than my 89 from yesterday, which will be my next upload.